Hi there. Welcome to the From Lab to Launch podcast by Qualio, where we share inspiring stories from the people on the front lines of life sciences. Tune in and leave inspired to bring your life-saving products to the world.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to From Lab to Launch podcast, brought to you by Qualio. I'm Meg, your host, and I'm delighted to be here with you today. Before we dive into today's episode, we'd love it if you could take a moment to rate and share the podcast with your circle of science enthusiasts. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show, please check out the application in the show notes. Today, we're excited to be joined by Marna Pacheco, founder of Capable Weighted Products. Marna turned personal insight into innovation when she designed a weighted cape for her daughter, Millie, who has level 3 autism, discovering a unique way to deliver precise, deep touch pressure with less weight. This led to founding of Capable in 2017, where smart weight technology has revolutionized how weighted products like blankets, vests, and wraps offer therapeutic benefits. Capable's reach has now extended into the medical field, providing hospitals and clinics with medical-grade weighted blankets, enhancing patient care through a non-pharmaceutical approach. Marna's journey from a personal quest to a broader mission to alleviate anxiety and provide comfort in medical and everyday environments is truly inspiring. We're looking forward to learning more from her experience, going from a home lab to launching into the healthcare industry. Check out the show notes for more information about Marna and to link to the Capable website. But let's bring her in. Welcome to the show, Marna.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and speaking with you.
Great. So I watched the video about Millie, and the story behind Capable is so inspiring. Can you share a little bit about the creation of the first Capable weighted product?
Right. So Millie is really inspiring. And, she has just done so much, and she doesn't really even know and probably comprehend all the things that she has contributed to society. But Millie needed to have weighted therapy. And so our OT that we were going to for therapy, occupational therapist, was encouraging us to look at weighted items. And so I, like any mom, went online and started looking at weighted products. And at first I saw the weighted blanket, and then I saw a lap pad, and I saw what I call the ugly institutional looking vest with Velcro, and then bean bags weighed around the perimeter. And it just felt like a straitjacket. And our daughter does come from adoption and from an orphanage. And so she was unfortunately left to her own survival in that orphanage before we adopted her. And then she also had medical needs of what we knew apparently, which was cleft lip and cleft palate. But what trauma does to the brain and how it affects the nervous system and all of that is what we really started learning once she came home after the age of 2 years of age. And basically, I went online, like I said, and started looking at weighted products. And I thought, well, I can make a weighted blanket, and made a weighted lap pad. But when Millie stood up, the weighted blanket fell down at her feet. And I went, I need to get her out the front door. So this is I'm not sure that this is going to work for us. And then with the lap pad, it was smaller and it was a little bit more on the go kind of thing, but it didn't have any way to stay around her neck. So we put some snaps on it, and it did help, and it felt a little bulky. But then I was like, okay, what if I can make a dignified, stylish, better vest, if you will? And I collect Vogue patterns, and I am a home seamstress. And I saw this 1950 vintage capelet, and I thought, oh, what about a cape? And so I created the cape, and it was adorable. It was pink fabric, and she was like this sweet pink cape kind of thing, and took it to the OT. And the OT just went gaga over it and said, we need to sell these right now to all of my clients that are going to want this product, because she hadn't seen anything like that from a wearable aspect that was dignified, fashionable, that really did deliver what we call current to neuroscience, smart weight technology, which was part of the research that I went into as we started doing this with the weighted product.
Yeah, I love that play on words too with Capable, and
Yes.
having these neurodivergent children who need this product still be able to feel like fashionable with the cape and
Yes.
like a superhero with a cape also. I think that's great and empowering too.
Absolutely. We actually called it Capable, and we spell it wrong, but we pronounce it right. But we spell it with an E, mainly because it did start with a cape, because that's what the difference. We were able to go out and about in society, and we were able to function and be regulated and not get the condescending or judgmental stares while we were out in, the stores or wherever we were at. And she was noticed for who she was and not her behaviors. And then what we discovered is that just for the neurodivergent community, but really all of us have a central nervous system. All of us have a nervous system. And so the reality is I was going out and about as well, being in that fight or flight mode, trying to focus on keeping my daughter safe and, helping control, if you will, the environment, and then helping the behaviors, and also give dignity to her as a human. And so my nervous system was completely out of whack as well, as I'm trying to, do all the mom things, if you will. So it ended up being that this product was designed for my daughter with special needs. However, it ended up realizing that this could be for all nervous systems in the world. And as we all have gone through 2020, we know now our mental health and our wellness is really, really important. And we have nervous systems that are completely vulnerable and really out of whack and overwhelmed, right?
Exactly. So on that note, how does the smart technology work and what makes it different from traditional weighted blankets?
Right. Such a great question. So I guess I love details, and the details was the research. And the research went into several different things. Number one, what is deep touch pressure? And the person who really started talking about deep touch pressure was Dr. Temple Grandin. And so Dr. Temple Grandin talked about her squeeze machine. And in that research and those white papers of the squeeze machine, which you could call, I guess, a hug. Some people call it the hug machine. But that squeeze machine was where you laid down in it, and underneath there was like a cushion or like a blow up cushion and above. And the person who was in the squeeze machine could actually control the amount of pressure they were getting. And the three most important points about the squeeze machine was nerve activation for deep touch pressure, getting to that third layer of the skin of the nerve receptor. So when you get deep touch pressure, you can override that fight and flight response, or those that do not want a human hug can mimic the human hug. And it needs to be a safe human hug, if you will, or a safe hug in general, if it is using deep touch pressure. And so we call that the 3 C's of deep touch pressure. It has to conform to any shape, size, or age of a body. And then it needs to compress evenly and gently. We don't need to pound or sock that nerve, and beat it. We can gently compress it and have it even across the entire body or whatever nerves are being activated at the time. And then it needs to be in constant contact with more nerves. And so with those 3 C's of deep touch pressure, or what we call precise or excellent deep touch pressure, we found with more nerve activation with weighted products, we could use less weight more effectively, plus create a freedom of movement. Now, the way that happened is we inserted the weight and the pressure within our magic, if you will, 2-inch grid. So that 2-inch grid is everything. The 2-inch grid allows deep touch pressure to work more efficiently and effectively with a safety component of freedom of movement and actually using less weight versus more weight. And that is kind of the secret sauce of smart weight technology.
Well, thanks for sharing this secret sauce with us. And now you've managed to bring Capable into the medical sector. What challenges did you face entering this market?
So what's interesting about smart weight technology is it is infused into 2 different fabric applications. We've got what we call the soft plush, machine wash, tumble dry, one-piece construction, and it's in that 2-inch grid, and it can be anywhere from blankets for sleep at night and activating your nerves, or wearables on the move, or sensory focus products that we have. but we also infused it into the medical grade fabric. So SmartWeight is infused into the medical grade fabric, and that is not machine washable or dry. It is literally wiped clean with all of the respective hospital cleaners that they would use for this medical grade fabric. So then it's reusable. It can go from patient to patient and it's just wiped clean. And yet we're delivering the SmartWeight technology. And with a patient who is in the hospital, whether they potentially are receiving chemo treatments with high anxiety, or they are coming out of the OR or going into the OR, if there's any wounds, given the fact that this grid is evenly dispensed across the entire surface, then you don't get the unevenness of weight using like a micro sand glass. We actually use a bigger bead, a medical grade bead that we don't have to stuff it full so much, and it doesn't slop around or become uneven, especially because of that grid. And so it just becomes safer for the patient as well. And what happened is we had a local hospital in our state that was looking to do a study in oncology with weighted blankets to see if it could lower that anxiety. And so that first controlled IRB study, when they reached out, I said, well, we don't just do typical weighted heavy blankets with that 4 to 6 inch square. It's really precise. And I said, we would love for you to use our blanket and we'd love to see what the results would be. And so they did. And it was astronomically significant that it lowered the anxiety. Well, since then, that got published in the CJON nursing journals of oncology. And it has slowly just started to creep out where people are looking for weighted blankets to help lower anxiety. What we're trying to share to the population of people who could benefit from weighted blankets or weighted therapy across the board is that it needs to have that SmartWeight technology, that 2-inch grid with the right amount of pressure and weight dispensing to really activate true deep touch pressure more effectively and safer to the patient.
That's great. Those 3 C's are really critical to get that right fit for
it is. So
pressure.
That first study, the first study was weighted blankets, anxiety reduction in adult patients receiving chemotherapy. And then, of course, it's caught on, and other hospitals have also been using our blankets in their controlled studies or clinical trials. Another one was just recently was weighted blankets reduce anxiety in adult surgical patients with moderate to high levels of perioperative anxiety. This provides a simple yet effective nurse-driven intervention for anxiety reduction. And then another one, evaluating the use of weighted blankets and anxiety reduction tool during cancer treatments. Wait, don't sedate. This was in ICU. And what was really cool about this clinical trial was that 100% ROS scores went down, and then 62% less restraints on the rest being used with agitation, 64% less PRN, medication for agitation, given to the patient. So that's what's really exciting about this non-pharmaceutical, no drug intervention, if you will, that it is easy on, easy off. And then they don't have to wait for even multiple drugs that are being given for it to, leave the body or, and then be able to add more. So this has just really been a simple tool for the nurses to be able to use on the patients with anxiety and other things. And it's just comforting. It's really helping the patient. So the medical side of things is really been one of those beautiful surprise blessings, if you will, that it can really get into patient care and help the patient, and which ultimately helps the nurses as well.
Yeah, that sounds like great outcomes for patients and nurses, and
a
great tool that has no side effects and no potential allergies either, right?
Right, that too. Yeah, and then the dentistry, because my daughter is cleft lip and cleft palate, so we have a lot of dental fear and anxiety. And so the dental blanket, designed a dental blanket also for patient comfort, so they can choose from that comfort menu so that patient can have a really great experience in the dental chair as well.
It sounds like you've had an incredible journey so far with Capable. What has been the most rewarding part for you so far?
Just giving value to my daughter, even though she is not neurotypical, if you will, her life has value and worth, and she contributes to society, and she is contributing to society. I just happen to be her mom that has a voice that is very passionate to bring awareness, and actually not just awareness, but solving problems for those that are struggling with regulation in an overwhelmed world right now. And that's been overwhelmed for a long time. It's really rewarding that we get to together as a mom and daughter do something that connects us, and we're really making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, I would say you and Millie are making a huge impact in the world. So from your sewing machine out into the world, it's really inspiring. At Qualio, we provide a quality management system, and I do quality here. So we always love to ask executives how they approach quality. So as your company is continuing to grow and growing into the medical industry, how do you think about quality and ensuring your products maintain quality and safety as you scale your production?
Well, that's a little pet peeve for me because I love details, and I always think of the end user. I am the end user. And if that product isn't quality and isn't actually doing what it needs to do, then I just feel like it's a waste of time and a waste of money. And, you can get a poor shoe or you can spend a little bit more on a really good design shoe that just makes your feet feel wonderful and allows you to make it through the day. And I constantly think of that when it comes to the end user. What do they need? They need easy to wear, easy to care, easy to use product that doesn't need to be complicated. And so that environment at work and that quality control is always about how are we solving a problem for the customer in the easiest and the most effective and comfortable way that we possibly can. And a lot of it is just because I am that end user. I sleep with my blanket every single night. I actually have my lap pad right now on my lap while we're in this interview. And, we wear the product, and then the medical product, I've used it, of course, even on myself, going into the dental chair with dental work. And I'm just so thrilled that customers, if you will, come back and they say, you said this product wasn't a miracle, but it sure does feel like it to us and our family. And that makes all the difference in the world. Keeps me on par for creating a quality product.
Right. I think drinking that champagne yourself, your own champagne, is always a good test of quality too. So you're using the products day in, day out, and they've made a big impact on your family. I feel like that makes a huge impact for quality for you. Great. Looking ahead, what new innovations or expansions might we expect to see from Capable in the coming years?
Right. Well, definitely within the medical arena, I want it to be that if you think weighted products and you think it should be heavy, 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 I want them to go, oh, we need weighted products within the care of our patient, and it needs and must have SmartWeight technology in it so that it is better for the patient. It's safer for the patient. It has freedom of movement. It's easy to use, non-pharmaceutical, no effects. It's just something that can deliver something immediately. So I want nurses and hospital systems to understand that weighted products done correctly, current to neuroscience of today, understanding that you don't want just heavy, you really want SmartWeight technology infused in that medical grade fabric so that it can be used for patient care.
Great. I hope it gets more adoption in the medical industry, especially thinking, non-pharmaceutical. I think that's just a great option for patients and nurses alike. So,
right.
To close this out, Marna, our last question is more of a fun one. We like to ask each of our guests, if we ran into you at a bookstore or your local library, in which section would we find you?
Oh, boy. I would say mental health, but I will say entrepreneur, the necessity of a mother's invention. And also in the special needs community as well, just bringing value and worth to every human being. It's just everyone deserves to be capable and to reach their own capabilities, whatever that is.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Where can folks go if they want to learn more about yourself or Capable?
Great. Well, Capeable.com, which is our website. And again, it's spelled Capeable, Capeable, but we do pronounce it Capable. And then we've got Facebook and Instagram, which is Capable Weighted Products for both of those social media sites. And then our LinkedIn, which is really wonderful. It's Capable Weighted Products as well. And of course, you can call or text the number. I answer the phone and I respond to the texts. I respond to the emails. We definitely have a lot of people, inquiring more about the medical and how they can get it into their hospitals. If they want to do any kind of research or trials with the blankets, we can do that. We do have weighted blankets, but we also have weighted wearables and like vest, capes, wraps, and scarves. And then we also have a sensory enrichment tool, which is called our magnetic focus fidget, which is super popular within hospital use or within personal use as well. So all of those areas you can find us. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions about SmartWeight technology or how this product could be used within their family or within their hospital system or dental.
Great. All the options there.
All the options.
All the options. Yeah. Well, we'll post those links in the show notes. Thanks so much for joining us, Myrna. This was really inspiring. I was so happy to speak with you. I think you wear your own cape every day and all the work that you do. It's really inspiring. So.
My goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of From Lab to Launch, brought to you by Qualio. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe and give the show a positive review. It really helps us out. For more information about Qualio, our guest today, or to be a guest on a future episode, please refer to the show notes. Until next time.